fraudsters with online deals. Let's get those dirty, rotten scammers.
We live so much of our lives now online, it's inevitable that we have to divulge some personal information in the process. But that doesn't mean we should be held hostage to unscrupulous scammers.
My heart dropped. I can see the transactions coming out of my bank account, 5,000, 10,000. The horror,
I got done up like a kipper, basically.
In the last year, the UK has lost almost £500 million to internet scams.
I saw my balance and it said 0. I just felt physically sick.
I've lost all this money. You've not lost it, it's been stolen.
The scammers' victims are left out of pocket and vulnerable.
It starts to make you doubt almost everything.
These guys out there know so much about me and I've not given permission for that.
I felt stupid, I felt like completely humiliated by it.
My mum Mavis and I are uncovering invaluable lessons for all ages as we look how to stay safe online and avoid the fraudsters' traps.
The more information that the scammers have on you, the more problems you have.
The bank will never, ever ask you to move money.
As well as meeting the people working to apprehend the fraudsters responsible.
Because we all need protection from the dirty, rotten scammers.
Today, we'll be discovering how the National Crime Agency is intercepting cyber-savvy kids on the fringes of online crime.
Typically, they'll be found by one of our local officers who embeds within the community.
We reveal the devastating consequences for those who fall foul of fraudsters.
So how much was it in total?
30,000.
And our experts share their intel so that you can stay one step ahead of the scammers.
I would suggest that somebody calling you and asking for access, don't give it to them.
Do you remember the first time you used online banking, Mum?
Gosh, that was a few years ago. It's easier than going into the bank and simple to use.
Well, for a lot of people, the first time was at the start of the pandemic. But with more people going online than ever before, it created this fertile opportunity for scammers. And that was certainly the case for the lady we're about to meet. She went along with a phone call that she thought was from a bank, but it quickly ended up costing her a fortune.
American-born Elaine has been based in the UK for over 21 years. Whilst self-isolating during the pandemic, she needed to make a bank transfer, so she telephoned her bank to arrange it.
I called the bank. There was a long message that said, due to COVID and understaffed and this and that, please go on the web. And I had set up a web account with HSBC whereby I could do this, but I had never activated it.
On the recommendation of the bank to use online rather than telephone banking, Elaine made her first online payment.
And the next day, it was a perfect storm of circumstances. I got this call that said, this is BT Internet calling. I see that you made a bank transfer yesterday. I need to let you know that someone has broken your firewall. And I said, oh my God, yes, that is me. I did that yesterday. And then they said, well, let me transfer you to our technical department. In that moment, I was putty in their hands.
And what did they ask you to do specifically?
Turn on my computer and allow them to download these various apps. This is all remotely, so my computer and my iPad could talk to each other so they could see what was happening. And then they asked me to go into this account so they could secure the account, and I believed them.
I believe them. I believe them. It's a great entry into the scam, isn't it? You've got the element of trust there and then.
Oh, I was ready to marry this man. I mean, literally, he was patient, he was intelligent, he knew what he was doing, and me, a single woman, in total isolation for 5 months.
Yes.
And there was no one there, say, sitting in my house, listening to this conversation saying, don't you think we should check this?
Over the course of 2 days, the scammers got Elaine to run a number of programs on both her computer and tablet. She believed what they were asking her to do was making her more secure, but in fact, they were draining money out of her account.
So how much was it in total?
30,000.
£30,000.
It wasn't just that amount of money, it was 20 years of savings. So that was the impact. That money wasn't sitting there because I want to buy a boat. It was sitting there because I pay my bills and my mortgage and my food.
I can't actually believe.
Yeah. No, I was really humiliated. I couldn't sleep at night because I kept hearing the voice of this man in my head because he was on the phone with me for over 2 days.
When you eventually told your friends or family members, what was the reaction from them?
I did not want to talk about it, full stop, because I had such shame. And it took me 2.5 weeks before I started telling some people. My sister, she was shocked that it happened to me because she knows how street smart I am. I mean, I was in Peace Corps.
How have things changed for you?
It's changed me profoundly. I instinctively trust no one.
Do you think that trust can be regained again?
I don't know. Watch this space. I have no idea.
Elaine did eventually get her money back, but she's worried about how the scammers were able to target her in the first place.
How would you generally describe your online footprint?
I buy airline tickets online. I rarely, if ever, shop online because I don't need to. I'm mobile, I can go to a shop. And I guess that's my footprint.
So not a lot, really.
Elaine has asked us to find out how the scam worked and how she can protect herself in the future. So we've tasked our team of ethical hackers to get to the bottom of how she was exposed. They'll adopt the same techniques that scammers use, but our group used them to prevent crime, not to commit it.
So is there anything in particular, Elaine, that you think we can help with?
I would like to know exactly where I might need to make some changes in my passwords, because you know it's tricky to remember all these passwords.
Well, that's really good to know, because we are definitely going to go away, speak to the experts and get as much information for you as we possibly can. So fingers crossed that'll be helpful for you.
I'd love that.
No, thanks for sharing your story.
That will make me smile.
We'll be smiling too.
We will be.
We'll find out later in the show what our ethical hackers uncover in their investigation.
In the UK, over £16 million was stolen in 2020 through computer takeover scams, like the one that Elaine was caught out by. So I want to learn more about this type of scam and how we can stop it. Cyber safety expert Ozalashe is the man in the know.
Should we be allowing anyone that we don't know remote access to our devices?
To say blanket, don't allow anybody access to your device is not realistic, because sometimes we need help with our device. And actually, if you work in an organisation that has an IT help desk, often they will ask for access to your system. Internet service providers, another really good example of people who sometimes need access to devices. But the key is trust. Do you believe that that person is who they say they are? I would suggest that somebody calling you and asking for access, don't give it to them. No one will ever fault you for taking the extra step. Put the phone down, Google your IT service provider, call the number that they provide online.
What should we do if we think we've actually downloaded some malicious software onto our device, and how can we ensure that we actually have deleted it?
So malicious software, malware, it's often referred to as well. One of the things you can do is actually run software, antivirus software, that will help scan your system to tell you whether or not any malware has been downloaded. And that software should be bought from a reputable source, it should be up to date, and it will generally pick up most forms of malware. Another thing you can do, of course, is go to the National Cybersecurity website. And at that website, they literally have guidance steps for things to do if you think that you may have downloaded malware. Also, if you can avoid doing anything particularly sensitive on that device whilst you're checking, don't use it for your banking, maybe don't use it to access any accounts that have really quite sensitive information in until you've checked.
There's another term I hear all the time that I'm hoping Oz can help me with. When I log into a website, I'm asked to accept cookies. But what does that mean? And is it putting me at risk?
The best way to think about cookies are to consider them packets of data and information. Packets of data and information that every time you visit a website or a different part of the internet are associated with you and your device. They enable websites to remember you so that actually it speeds up the whole process next time you visit, or maybe they remember bits of you about the way in which you've purchased things before, the shopping carts that you've just filled, that you've moved away and then come back. But what's happened recently is that criminals have used that information in order to manipulate things. Social engineering, I know that you shop here, I know that you buy things here. And actually there's a privacy issue here as well. Just because I've visited your website, should you now be able to track me across the internet and know every single thing about me?
Remarkably, you don't need to have a computer or a phone to be targeted by cyber criminals, as our next case shows. We're meeting Joan from Wilmslow and her son-in-law David. Joan rarely uses the internet at all, so was baffled when a fraudster used her bank card to buy fast food online.
So tell me a little bit about your story.
I don't like all this information going through on a computer. I'm not a silver surfer. No. I don't have a computer, I don't have a mobile phone, and I just love to pay by cash or cheques as long as I can.
Keeps it simple, doesn't it, Joan?
Keeps it simple. I mean, I don't live in the past, but it was good time. And that's simple. It was simple. Everything was so simple.
In early 2021, Joan was visiting David and her daughter Claire. Claire wanted to buy some air miles on her computer and asked to use Joan's debit card to make the purchase.
And it wouldn't go through. So she said, shall I try again? And she did. And she said, no, it just won't go through. It's been rejected.
Joan was concerned that her card had been declined, so the next day she called into her bank to find out why, only to discover that 2 transactions had been made to the food delivery service Deliveroo. And because this was out of the ordinary, her bank had frozen her card.
Do you use Deliveroo? Are you into your takeouts?
Never. So I couldn't understand it. So they said, oh, you better go and phone the fraud squad. Got through to the fraud squad, and they said, yes, 1 item's gone through, but 1 is still pending with Deliveroo.
2 fraudulent purchases had been made on Joan's card, totalling £114.
It's a good job I went in, because they could have cleaned me out.
You've had a debit card for some time, I take it, but never used it?
Never, ever. Didn't want to. The only card I use is my credit card occasionally.
So there was nothing on that debit card ever?
It shouldn't have been.
Being scammed was a big shock for Joan, who is always security conscious when using a credit card.
I do not like giving those last 3 numbers on the back, and I usually say to the person I'm speaking to...
I don't like those last 3 numbers.
I'd say to the people on the phone, I'm going to whisper this number, but you're not to repeat it.
You say that to them?
I said, please don't repeat it.
But do you think the whispering helps?
Not really.
Because I might try that. You never know.
Thankfully, Joan was not left out of pocket. Her bank was able to cancel the pending transaction, and they refunded the first one. But considering Joan had never even used her bank card, the experience has left everyone in the family feeling wary.
What were your thoughts, Dave, when you heard about what had happened to Joan? Did it make you feel differently about your data and where it's going?
Yes, it's made me far more cautious than I was.
But it's true, though, because it does make you paranoid, and we have this conversation all the time. Like, any time you're going online to enter your details, you are so vigilant with that. Is this link real, you know?
And then she does, Mum, it's your age. I went, no, it's not my age, dear. It's just that I don't know who these people are, and I'm putting this information in.
I think it's influenced by the circumstances. So if I'm buying a ticket for something that I really want, I'll probably go through all security protocols in about a millisecond because I really want something therefore, and you almost forget the importance of it, and sometimes you'll give away data without even thinking about it. And it's only when something like this happens with Joan that you stop and think.
We're getting our team of world-class ethical hackers on the case to find out how scammers were able to target Joan, and if it's possible the route to her bank account was through her family.
So as a family, are you worried about your data and your family's data, of what could be out there still about you and about the rest of the family?
I'm not.
Right, well, there you go. 1 out of 2.
Done. Joe's not worried.
I'm not worried.
Are you not worried now, Joan, after this has happened?
No, because you're on it.
Oh, I love her.
I love her. That's
You've
you've got
got
faith in me.
Yeah, we've
I'm
got
on
complete
it.
faith in you, yeah.
Mavis is on it. And Joan, not my words, love, I am.
So, Joan's daughter used her own computer to buy the air miles, but with Joan's debit card. So could this potentially have been the reason for the scam? I'm meeting up with Alex Rothwell from the City of London Police to find out more and to see what we can do to minimise the risk to ourselves and our families.
There's some general principles here. If you're using Wi-Fi or computers that don't belong to you or belong to other people or are part of a public network, you should be very careful about the information that you're inputting into websites for purchases that you might be making. You don't have the same level of control over that information that you might have on your home system. Often we're asked to enter a lot of information when we buy things online, for example. Again, it's personal choice, but not all of that information is mandatory in order to purchase the goods. You don't always have to put your date of birth in, for example. It's optional. It's a personal choice. But the more information, of course, that we provide and leave out there, the more vulnerable that information is.
Just how valuable is our data nowadays? You know, the bigger our digital footprint, is it the more we're at risk?
Well, it's really valuable. I think it would be extremely difficult for us to operate in an environment where we didn't release any information. We know that data breaches drive a lot of fraud. That's not the only source of criminality. So we all need to find ways of personally managing that and dealing with that in a safe and secure way. Using things like strong passwords, protecting your email account, being aware of the type of scams that exist out there.
Another concern is that the website Joan's daughter used her mum's bank card for was actually a spoof site.
What about third-party websites that aren't the real deal?
Yeah.
Was this quite a big issue?
Criminals have become very adept at creating sites which look like the real deal. So I'd always urge people, rather than clicking on links and then going directly to a page which could be a spoof page, step back a second, have a think about it, and ideally then go directly to the website that you're interested in rather than using the link, or do some research and satisfy yourself that that is a legitimate page.
Also keep an eye out for a padlock symbol in the address bar and the letters HTTPS at the start of the URL, which means a website's sensitive data has been encrypted. Report any spoof sites at actionfraud.police.uk.
One piece of advice I give is to think before you click. Just take a few minutes just to pause and think about what it is that you're being asked to do, particularly if it relates to personal information or financial details.
Our ethical hackers have been hard at work looking into Joan's case. With a master's in preventing online crime, ICRA has been using the criminal's own techniques to investigate what else could be leaving Joan vulnerable to scammers.
ICRA, we'd love to know what you found out about Joan.
Well, we couldn't find as much information out there on Joan, not on social media or any other sites, but we did find a fair bit of information on Joan's daughter and son-in-law. And with that information, and a scammer could gain more information about Joan.
The thing is, and I agree probably that you didn't find a lot about Joan, is because she's a mature lady, so we don't tend to post a lot. But it's amazing how through our children, they can find things out, Michelle.
Yeah, that's really good to know.
Thanks for that, ICRA.
No problem.
And while we're with ICRA, it's time for an update on retiree Elaine, who was scammed out of £30,000 after using online banking for the first time. And ICRA's found a lot of information, Not only about where Elaine's been online, but also in the world.
So Elaine, we did find her TripAdvisor account, and with her TripAdvisor account, we did realise that Elaine does like a bit of a holiday here and there. And with that information, we can find out where she's been and where she hasn't been. That can be something that can be used against her with scammers to try and get her a nice holiday deal. But it can also be used against her because we now know where Elaine may or may not be just by a TripAdvisor review, and that can be harmful to Elaine because that means that Elaine might not be home, and then a burglar could find out this information and burglarize Elaine's home.
We've got to be so careful what we do and don't post, haven't we?
Gee, thanks for that.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Hacking and cybercrime often attracts young individuals with no outlet for their sophisticated computer skills. But the National Crime Agency has created a Cyber Choices programme to help individuals on the fringes of criminality and set them on the right path.
Remarkably, in Britain, the average age of a cybercriminal is just 17, with some hackers developing their skills aged just 8. Ethan Thomas is a cyber prevent officer at the National Crime Agency, aiming to intercept these youngsters, and he's invited us behind the scenes to see how the programme works.
Cyber Choices is a programme that's aims are to either deter or divert individuals who may be on the cusp or engaging in low-level cybercrime and divert them towards more legal and positive uses for their skills.
Cybercrime is taken very seriously by law enforcement agencies and is considered a Tier 1 threat to national security, the highest level of threat to the UK, alongside terrorism. Ethan explains how they find the young hackers on the edges of criminality.
Typically, they'll either be found by one of our local officers who embeds within the community, or we may have found them in the wild, out doing things on the internet. We have officers in every single local police force, and what this enables us to do is have a really local approach to those interventions and to suggest things within their local area that they may be able to go to develop their skills in a legal manner.
By intervening early, they have good chances of stopping the kids turning to organised crime, because once it happens, it becomes much harder to divert them away.
I think everyone likes to get behind a scheme that's going to put people that have talent and ability and take them off of a path that might be the wrong way for them.
Once Ethan has targeted someone of concern or on the fringes of criminality, they pay the youngster a visit. And it's far from a friendly chat. It's made clear that if they continue, they'll be prosecuted.
In fact, best if we start again, from the beginning.
Today, Ethan is out with his colleague, Detective Constable Will Farrell, to deliver a cease and desist letter to a young person in Manchester.
This adult has come to our attention in that he is vulnerable to being exploited, potentially by cyber criminals. From all the information we have, his heart's in the right place, but he just needs that extra push in the right direction.
The young man in question has been caught using software that's designed to gain unauthorised access to online data and to also perform what's known as a DDoS attack, which can devastate a company's computer system.
People don't realise just how severe the Computer Misuse Act can be. In the worst possible circumstances, something as low as a DDoS attack could receive up to 10 years imprisonment.
So essentially, we're trying to do that individual a favour so they don't get involved in crime, they don't get a criminal record, and that will improve their life chances.
For legal reasons, we're not able to film the intervention or identify the youngster, so we wait outside whilst Ethan and Will enter the building. The NCA are using adverts like this one to promote opportunities for those with skills in coding, gaming and cybersecurity.
If you've got computer skills like mine, you can be somebody. Maybe a digital defender or something.
With the UK average salary for those in the tech industry at around £53,000 and £86,000 for specialised roles.
There was no job offer. It was withdrawn as soon as I got convicted. Bye-bye, successful career.
And with their chat over, Ethan and Will are having a debrief.
I thought it was really positive. From the start, it was clear that he needed that guidance. He kind of opened up to us about his past and dabbling in areas maybe that were of concern.
The fact that he, of his own accord, has sort of come into a decision where he doesn't really want to be doing that stuff anymore. So we can just give him that extra little nudge to help him with those skills and resources and learn how to do that in a legal, positive way.
All across Britain, interventions like this are taking place to reduce young offending online. Ethan says not everyone sees the light straight away. Some need more help than others. But today, this young man seems to want to change.
It's clearly a crossroads for this individual, and I'm really reassured today that our ongoing work with him will send him off in the right direction for his future.
Some of these youngsters clearly have some skills to put to good use. But what I really want to know is whether Mum thinks she could keep up with the kids these days.
Do you think you're tech savvy?
I would consider myself tech savvy enough for my age and a bit more. I like to keep abreast of technology and I like to learn new things. It's like if I can't do anything, I go on YouTube and find out how to do that. You know, I taught myself, you know, how to work spreadsheets and lots of other things. And so I really enjoy finding out how things work online.
Do you think you'd be a good ethical hacker then?
I'd love to do that.
I can imagine you doing that.
I would love it. Anything to bring the scammers down, Michelle. Bring it on. You don't have to be active online to be caught in a cyber scam. Earlier, we met Joan, who rarely uses the internet and likes to pay cash for everything. Joan was left mystified when her debit card details were stolen and used to buy food online.
I don't have a computer, I don't have a mobile phone. I couldn't understand it.
Our team of ethical hackers have had to dig deep to find out why Joan, whose card was only ever used by her daughter to buy air miles online, got scammed in this way. And what they've discovered is quite the revelation. Joan and her son-in-law David are back to hear what's leaving her and her family exposed.
Joan, you expected that there'd be no information about you online. You're not on the internet, you don't have a mobile phone, so therefore there'd really be no information around you for scammers to steal. Well, you would be right about that. Rest assured that there is hardly any information about you online at all.
Good.
However, you could still be at risk through your family. So, David.
Yes.
Let's talk to you.
Good.
So whilst Joan has been very careful, you and other members of the family perhaps might not have been so careful or quite so security conscious.
Okay.
So whilst our hackers can't say for certain, we're pretty sure that the scammer's route to Joan has been through family and friends.
When the team looked into what is out there on Joan's relatives, it painted a whole different picture to that of Joan.
Our ethical hackers have been able to find out, you know, a decent amount of information around you. David, your data has been involved in at least 5 separate data breaches.
Gosh,
Wow.
this is another world for me.
The data breach included email addresses, physical locations, employment history, net worths, marital status, home ownership status, family structure, financial investments, and a lot more.
Wow.
Wow.
That is a bit of a surprise, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It's a lot, isn't it?
That is, yeah. Certainly the number of them is a surprise. You know, to have 5 and to have that level of data going out about me is a concern.
It is.
And this is the thing, sometimes companies don't make us aware. They're not obligated to, but the information about you is out there and publicly accessible to scammers.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised, and I know that David's very, very careful and mindful of what can happen. So it's just incredible that these people can find all this out.
And there's more bad news for David.
Within the data breaches, there was some key pieces of information that were leaked. Joan, if you want to pass David that card there, do you want to have a look at that, David?
Yep.
So this is a password that you've used.
Might be.
Is this something you're still using? Have you used it a lot before?
I used to use it quite a lot. And yeah, I mean, when I see it, I am bothered that's accessible. I did it because I've got a terrible memory. And I guess probably that's what quite a lot of people do with passwords. They do it something that's familiar that they'll be able to recall easily. But no, that is worrying, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very close to his heart, that password.
To strengthen your passwords, make sure they include 8 characters at least, numbers and symbols, a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, and never use a word that's personally connected to you that can be found out, like your football team or dog's name.
Data breaches aren't something that we are in control of. We can't stop them from happening. All we can do is know that there is information accessible out there of you. Can just make you more mindful going forward and more suspicious of any calls, texts, emails.
Finally, our ethical hackers have a good idea about how Joan's card was used by scammers.
Joan, it's likely that you or your daughter have clicked on an ad purporting to be from the legitimate travel company.
Yeah.
This may have been through social media, their emails, or on a search engine, and this is taking you through to a fake website where you've put your details in.
We're told that these spoofed websites are increasingly convincing, so it's worth the whole family being extra conscious in the future, as it could have been a lot more than takeouts that the scammer bought.
So whilst the rest of the family potentially aren't being as careful as they could be, you're all at risk. And it's important you all work together now to strike a plan and stick to it to make sure these scammers can't get to any of you again.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
How are you feeling about all the information that we've talked about today?
Well, very pleased, amazed, surprised, but thankful that we've got this, that you found out for us. Thank you.
The thing is about you, Joan, is you've got your eyes wide open, you're on a mission, and you will, whatever change is needed, you will do it, I can tell.
Miss Marple the second.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't let them get away with it. Try and fight it.
And by fighting it, we all become more conscious of what we put online and more security conscious. And when we do know something's gone wrong, put them on your naughty list, Joan.
And think before you act.
Absolutely. Do you know what, Joan? I think me and you, we could be very good at this, couldn't we?
Yes.
At teaching the others what not to do.
It seems like the experience has been a huge wake-up call for the whole family.
I'm more aware of the risk than I ever was. I didn't really take it seriously before, but there's a couple of points in the report that just made me really think about how I approach security online.
Can't tell you how helpful it's all been.
Earlier, we met retired executive Elaine, who was conned out of an incredible £30,000 by scammers claiming to be from BT Internet.
I was really humiliated. I got this call that said, I need to let you know that someone has broken your firewall.
And what did they ask you to do specifically?
Turn on my computer and allow them to download these various apps.
She'd only used online banking once before and believes she has quite a low online profile. But let's see if our investigation uncovered anything that could leave Elaine exposed to scammers.
One of the things you mentioned to us was that you felt like you were caught in a vulnerable moment with the scammers. This is a very real issue for a lot of us, and that vulnerability can come in all different ways. It could be that we're lonely, given everything that happened last year. It could be that we're tired or distracted by a number of different things. But what it means is that many of us who wouldn't consider ourselves vulnerable people still have vulnerable moments. Scammers will make the most of this, they'll exploit it for their own gain, which is what we think happened to you.
Yes. Yes.
And it's just important, really, that you don't blame yourself for this, because it could happen to anybody, this kind of situation. When we looked into your online presence, there's actually quite a lot of information about you online. And I know you did say that you don't use the internet that much. So we were able to see small details that you may think are insignificant, like your mobile phone network. This, on its own, isn't a big deal, but it's a small piece of information that you may not realise that's out there. Our ethical hackers also found personal information like your date of birth. We know that scammers will use that again to build profiles, and the more information they have, the more credible their story can seem.
There are clearly areas of Elaine's online presence that she can tighten to protect her in the future, as fraudsters will exploit any means necessary to achieve their goal.
Your scammers ask you to grant them remote access to your devices. This is something that can be quite a common tactic. There are legitimate reasons why someone would need to take remote access of your device, such as when we're at work and speaking to a trusted employee from the company. But if the person is rushing you or you feel panicked at all, again, take a second to call the company back on a trusted number. If they're legitimate, they'll understand.
They had perfected the science of grooming.
As part of the scam, Elaine was asked to download an app onto her device. But our experts stressed that a bank or internet provider would never ask us to do this. And unless completely removed, for the scammers, it can be the gift that keeps on giving.
Our concern would be that everything you did on your device at that time could have been seen by the scammers. So we would recommend you consider any passwords or credit card details or anything else you did at that time at risk. So you can speak with your bank and you can change your passwords, but first you need to make sure that your devices are secure. And what we did find from looking at your contact details is that unfortunately your data has been involved in at least 5 data breaches going back to 2016. That means, Elaine, that your data has been available for scammers to share and even buy and sell for 5 years now.
Did you know that your data had been breached at all?
No, I don't even know what to say. What does one do?
There are websites that you can check about data breaches, and though they aren't conclusive, they can give you a good idea about what's happened with your data, because unfortunately, companies aren't obligated to tell us.
Websites such as haveibeenpawned.com can tell us if our information has been exposed in a data breach, and where.
It is an uneasy feeling, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Knowing that your data's out there.
Yeah, I feel very insecure and very uncomfortable.
This is the key, having the knowledge about it, especially with data breaches, because we can't control whether a company leaks our information, but knowing that it's happened gives us the awareness and you know, helps us react from that. As your data's been exposed so many times, we would advise that you consider this compromised now and visible to scammers. Any account using exposed passwords is not safe.
Okay, so I need to go in and make some changes.
Hearing your details have been involved in a breach is not easy. But before we offer Elaine some essential know-how to protect her against scammers in the future, we've got one more discovery to share, and it's the most shocking of all.
Now, we also found this piece of information exposed online and available publicly. If you just turn that card over there, that white card.
Oh, yeah.
Is this a password that you're using currently?
Yes, variations on it.
On what sort of accounts?
Everything. Everything. I'm shocked that you have this written on a piece of paper in front of me, and you didn't get it from me. It really is making me nervous.
A lot to take in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Luckily, there are things that Elaine can do to protect herself from fraudsters. It might seem like a lot of effort, but our experts tell us it's essential we have completely different passwords for each account. Using variations of the same password is making life far too easy for scammers.
Passwords need to be something that's totally not related to you. Make it difficult.
So any account that is using that password or a variation of that password is not safe and you need to completely change it. And if you need, you could get a password manager, which would help you keep control of everything without you having to remember these really difficult passwords. So it keeps everything safe, all in one place, but every single password for each account is different.
Good advice, good suggestion.
That's what you're going to do, isn't it, Mum?
I am, and she's told me, so I'm going to do it.
Have you done it?
I've not done it yet. It's easy for me to say, isn't it?
right.
We both need to do it.
We'll be doing it.
Let's all do it together.
We'll all do it together.
Can we just make a pact here
We'll
right
make
now
a
that
pact.
we'll all do it?
We'll text each other once we've completed it.
Exactly. Password manager, check.
Yeah, check.
Are you glad you know all this now?
Of course
at
I'm
least?
glad. Yes, no, of course I'm glad. I know it. I'm very nervous and feel very vulnerable, but I'm, happy that I've gotten some practical suggestions to protect my data, which is all I need to do moving forward.
It's better to be equipped with the information,
Yes,
and
thank
then
you.
you can make positive steps moving forward and feel more secure in your online life.
Thank you for your research and delving into this, and I hope it helps people. So thank you.
Despite the serious setback, Elaine is finally armed with the tools to help shield her from further attacks.
Well, when I flipped over that card, I didn't know what was going to be written there. And when I saw that it was actually my password, I was just shocked and quite anxious to get home and to start making those changes. I feel very lucky that the program has given me some really essential and very precise suggestions and advice to protect my identity online, and I'm grateful for that.
Elaine didn't realise she had so much of an online presence, did she?
She didn't, and then she heard that a password for all her accounts was exposed for everyone to see.
Yeah, and that's why having a strong and different password for all our key accounts is so important to keep your data safe from scammers.
Delve deeper into the world of cybercrime and online scams with the Open University, from phishing and malware to Trojans and worms. Head to bbc.co.uk/scammers and follow the links to the Open University.
Strained relationships and a second murder in a mining village. New crime drama Sherwood continues tonight at 9. Chris, Paddy and Freddie in America having a ball in bobsleighs and tractors. Top Gear, watch now on BBC iPlayer.